Do you want to try sublimation crafting without investing in a printer? Guess what? You don't need one. Today, I'm going to show you how to make sublimation crafts without a printer. Hello, everybody. Jennifer Maker here. It's a beautiful day to learn how to make sublimation projects without needing a sublimation printer. None of these projects used a home printer. I really love my sublimation printer and the vibrant designs that it can create, but I know not everyone wants or can get a printer. That's why I'm sharing 5 fun ways to sublimate without a printer. Pick your favorite and get started. To try these techniques, you'll need a compatible blank. I'm using aluminum bookmarks with a white polymer coating, perfect for sublimation inks. My bookmarks are 1 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches, which is just right for these designs. All right, so you ready? Let's get started with our first printer-free sublimation option. Now, if you have Cricut's Infusible Ink transfer sheets, you've got pre-printed sublimation ink that you can cut. No printer needed. These transfer sheets are so easy to cut with a cutting machine. In Cricut Design Space, I sized my hashtag design SVG a little bigger than the bookmark for full coverage. On the prepare screen, you must make sure to mirror the design. And then with clean, dry hands, place your infusible ink sheet pretty side up on a green standard grip machine mat so it covers the design area on the screen. Use your cutting machine to load and cut the design, and then trim the excess away with scissors or a paper trimmer. Now, weeding infusible ink transfer sheets is really pretty fun. Gently roll and bend the cut areas until the ink's edges start lifting from the carrier sheet, just like this. Pull the extra ink pieces off the carrier sheet, and don't touch the parts you're keeping, though, because skin oils can affect the quality of your transfer. A weeding tool or tweezers can help, especially with really small pieces. After weeding, flip the design over and look at it from the back. This is how it will look on your bookmark. Make sure that you didn't miss anything during weeding. Your infusible ink design is now ready to sublimate. I'll wait to sublimate everything at the end, so let's go on to the next option. You can make printer-free sublimation designs with Cricut's Infusible Ink Pens and some copy paper. These pens are filled with sublimation ink, making them perfect for lots of sublimation projects. This technique works really well with my bookshelves design. In Cricut Design Space, ungroup the design, and then make sure you set the correct layers to pen and then select your fine point infusible ink pen colors. I use bright teal, blueberry, neon blue, black, tangerine red, and fuchsia. Don't forget to attach them to the bookmark cut shape, and that's all. Then mirror on the prepare screen and get your materials ready. Always test your pens on your material. The pens didn't work well on sublimation paper for me, but copy paper worked perfectly. I used a blue light grip machine mat since the paper is pretty thin. Set your material to copy paper 20 pound with more pressure. And the Cricut will tell you which color it needs, so just follow the screen prompts to put the right pen in the clamp. Once all the drawing is done, the machine will cut the shape out and you can gently remove the design. And that's really all there is to using infusible ink pens. And this is all ready to sublimate too. The next one I was so excited to try is Sublimation Paint. Even if you don't paint much, these artistry acrylic paints are a game changer. Don't be surprised by the muted colors right out of the container though. That is normal for sublimation ink. Here's a preview of what they will look like after you apply some heat and pressure. They come in basic colors, but you can mix them like normal paint to create whatever custom color you need. You can paint freehand, or you can use your Cricut to draw outlines for you. I prepared my stars bookmark like the last design, but I just used a regular Cricut fine point pen on copy paper. Since these pens have normal ink, they won't sublimate along with your painting. Just remember to mirror before you use the pen though. Once your design is ready, all you need to do is paint. Like any paints, these can get messy, so be sure to protect your work area. I started with a dry brush, painting the light colors first, since darker colors can cover mistakes. I saw brush strokes at first, but letting the paint dry and adding a few layers smoothed them all out. When switching colors, be sure to rinse and dry the brush really well. Now the paints do mix well, just prepare enough for a few coats so you don't run out. Once the stars dried, I painted the background with 2 coats of red to cover up any blank spots on the bookmark. And don't worry, I bet this will be more vibrant after we press it, just like a printed sublimation design. While exploring these techniques, I realized you can combine them for a unique creation. Would you like to see how I did that and make your own awesome design? Check out Advance with Jennifer Maker over at jennifermaker.com/advance. This special program offers projects, customization tutorials, a vast library, and much more. We can advance your skills together and go on new creative adventures every day. If you're interested, go to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more. Do you have some stamping supplies gathering dust? Let's put them to work with these amazing Sublimation ink pads. This method is versatile, it works great, and best of all, there's no sublimation printer required. It's a fun way to give your stamps a whole new life. These special ink pads from Artistry make your favorite stamps pop. You can even layer, blend, or add gradient effects for more depth. Simply stamp and layer as much as you want, and then let it dry. And that's it, it's ready for sublimation. Of course, ink can get messy, so protect your work area. I found these inks worked best on sublimation paper. And for small projects, you can stamp multiple designs on one page. Put your sublimation paper face up and use a number 2 pencil to trace the blank and the tassel hole with some space around it. The pencil won't transfer later. Then fill in the shape with the special inks using stamps or blenders. I used a blender to add a light background, and if you press harder, you'll get more ink. Now don't worry about staying within the lines. In fact, going outside a bit will ensure you have enough ink to fully cover the blank. When you're ready for a new color, rinse the blender in water and blot it dry on a paper towel. The ink stays blendable for a little while on the paper. You can also add stamp designs. Stick to images instead of words since the design will be reversed during heating. Make sure you pick a color that will show up against the other colors and press firmly to pick up the ink. You can wipe excess off with a damp paper towel. And you can use the outline to place stamps straight up and down to avoid smudges. Let the ink dry for a few minutes, then use scissors to trim about 1/2 inch from around the outline. And that one's ready too. But there's one more method to try before we sublimate. So what do you do if you want a specific image or a photo, but you don't have a sublimation printer? No problem. You can send your files to an online service like Jiffy, which you'll find over at jennifermaker.com/Jiffy. For a reasonable price, they'll print your sublimation images at the right size and ship them fast. It's quick, easy, and the prints turn out just as beautifully as my own printed ones have. Now, I've used Jiffy and the products before, so I trust them, and I think you can too. The Jiffy website has a tool to make uploading and ordering prints pretty easy. To begin, click the little location link and enter your zip code for the delivery estimate. The prices are here on the left for single prints and bulk orders. Click Browse Files, and I'll select all 3 of my PNG bookmark designs, then upload them. Now look closely at the preview to make sure you get the print you want. By default, the tool removes the backgrounds, but I want to keep mine by toggling the Remove Background button off. The price estimates will vary by size, and you can adjust your files proportionately. If you're making a full coverage project like my bookmarks, order a print at least 1/8 of an inch larger than your blank. Now mistakes happen, so I always order a few extra copies. Shipping is fast and inexpensive, but it's easier to avoid a second order. You can have your transfers pre-cut for a fee, but I'll just cut them myself. They add a buffer around each image so you can cut them easily. Add the designs to your cart, and that's where you can see the shipping options. When you're ready, you can check out with the options available on the bottom right. My sublimation prints from Jiffy came in a box rolled up with a piece of tape. They were a little wrinkled, but don't worry, it didn't affect the transfer. The sublimation paper was thinner than what I've worked with before, but the design sublimated just like my A-Sub sublimation paper. The color and saturation are slightly more vibrant than the results that I get from my Epson EcoTank, but are a little grainy. Since Jiffy works with a network of printers, the results can vary, but I haven't received an unusable print in all of my tests. Ordering from Jiffy is a great option for sublimating designs if you don't have a sublimation printer at home. Now, let's see how these printer-free options press. As with all sublimation projects, be sure to open a window and turn on a fan to improve your ventilation. You can sublimate all of these the same way with the same settings. First, peel off the protective film on your bookmark, and then clean its white surface with a lint-free cloth and a little rubbing alcohol. Also, make sure the tassels aren't attached. Now, these don't need to be preheated, but some blanks do, so always check the manufacturer's directions. Place the sublimation design face up on your work surface, and note the top. Put the bookmark white side down on the design so there's an even border all the way around it. Make sure the tassel hole is at the top. The bookmark may be slightly arched, so press it firmly down onto the design. Cut a piece of heat-resistant tape and press it onto a short edge of the bookmark, then down onto the paper's border. Tape the other end and side so the bookmark is flat and firmly attached to the printer. Place your pressing mat on your work surface, then add clean white cardstock on top to protect it from the extra ink. With the bookmark on top, set the project on the cardstock. Lay a piece of clean, white, uncoated butcher paper over the bookmark to protect your press from any ink. Now I'll follow the settings in my Sublimation cookbook and preheat the heat press to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. Then I'll set the timer for 50 seconds. Press the bookmark with firm pressure for 50 seconds. When the time is up, lift the heat press straight up and put it back on its cradle since it will be hot. Let the bookmark cool completely before peeling off the tape and the paper to reveal the design. Here are all of the bookmarks sublimated without a printer. Sublimation without a printer is totally possible, as you can see, and really fun. I hope you'll try out these methods wherever you are in your sublimation adventure. And if you do, be sure to share your photos in my Sublimation Made Easy Facebook group. Whether you're new to sublimation or not, come join us over at jennifermaker.com/sublimation group and get inspired. And if you want to create your own mixed media designs, remember to visit jennifermaker.com/advance for more information. And if you'd like to get more times and temperatures for other sublimation blanks, my Sublimation cookbook is a great resource. You can get all of the details over at jennifermaker.com/sublimation cookbook. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.